Beth. Hey, Aaron. Hey, George. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to 30 Minutes of Awesome. We've got stuff on tap. We can cover it. We're going to talk about AMD just reporting earnings, Starbucks just reporting earnings, Pins just reporting earnings here after the bell today. More earnings all week long. This is probably the biggest week of earnings that we're going to see. I'm going to talk about cardboard sales, probably talk about that again in the morning for the Morning Monster folks, because lo and behold, the Morning Monster show has turned out to be bigger than this. So if you're tuning into this, make sure that you are subscribed. Hit the subscribe button right here. I guess it's right here, right down here. Yeah, hit the subscribe button and make sure you're a subscriber. Hit the bell with the doodads, and you get notified when I go live every morning, usually about 9:15. Before the market even opens, talk about what's moving for the day. The prediction, my bias for the day, turned out to be correct 2 days in a row now. Not to brag on myself, but tend to get it right more than get it wrong. Anyway, we'll talk about cardboard sales, and then, as always, 30 minutes of your requests. So you want to make sure you're subscribed again, button over here, so that you can make requests. I mean, that's the whole point, right? 30 minutes of awesome. Awesome is your request for 30 minutes. So, congratulations getting it right. I get it right more than I get it wrong. It's why you're here, right? But I may never get it right again. So let's do this. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance, not necessarily indicative of future results. Again, I may never get it right again. I may be a complete, just lightning keeps hitting and I keep getting it right, but the lightning may dry up. I don't know. This presentation is intended to be informational, educational, and fun, because, I mean, we only got one shot at this thing. If you're not having fun, you need to figure out something else to do that lets you have at least a little fun. I mean, what's the point? We get one ride, one chance, one ride on this adventure. Anyway, and it's not about what you do, how much you make. It's about the journey and who you bring along with you, friends and family, right? Who you meet along the way, and that's you. You're along on my journey. So I hope I help you out. Hope you have a little fun in this journey. So it's not a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument or anything else. But if you want to join me, you want to have a more personal conversation, I have Discord for those who choose to be followers. Support me in my adventure to help other people at all times as an Eagle Scout. So if you desire personal financial advice, though, you need to hire and consult a financial advisor that has your best interest in mind. This is the 30 Minutes of Awesome. Welcome to the show. Again, we're covering earnings that just popped out. AMD, Starbucks, Pins, among many more. We've got cardboard sales to talk about. We've got all your requests. So glad to have everybody. Let's get started. If you're brand new here, make sure you shout it out. Let me know you're brand new. I'd love to welcome new people. I'm trying to get the right chart pulled over to talk about. Looks like I threw the cardboard onto the wrong set of charts. There we go. All right. We have earnings. Like I said, we have AMD, we have Devon, we have Starbucks, we have Pinterest, we have MicroStrategy, we have ELF, we have Solar Edge, Pioneer, Lumen, and Galactic, I guess it is. I guess that's what used to be Space, Virgin, Galactic, whatever. CVS Health in the morning. They were announcing layoffs today ahead of earnings. That's no bueno. That sucker's probably going down in a blaze of glory right there. Humana in the morning, Generac, Cameo, or whatever, however you say that, Kamiko, Purion, Kraft Heinz, John Kerry's wife's family's company, I guess you'd say, First Builder Source, and a couple more down there. Carlisle, I'm not even sure how you say that one, and Tiva. So then tomorrow, PayPal, Shopify, Oxy, Buffett's favorite petroleum company, Unity Software. That was a fun one. If you have anybody you know that likes making video games, my son and I have used Unity. And Etsy down here, along with Amazon and Apple coming up on Thursday after the close. Big earnings right here. If one of these two messes up, one of these two does something crazy, some crazy Ivan, guess what? We totally foobarred the earnings. It can take the market down in a blaze of glory. Like those two That's like a black swan type event. If one of those two just, guess what? We effed it up. Um, I don't see it very likely to happen, but that's out there as a warning that it's one of those things, one of those threats to the market. All right, Coinbase and Block Airbnb. I am long right now on Coinbase and Block and Airbnb. All those coming up on Thursday, so we'll talk about them on Friday. All right, that's the week laid out for you. Earnings wise, I brought cardboard sales. I haven't talked about this in a little while, maybe a couple months, maybe a couple weeks. I don't know. Last time I was talking about this, cardboard sales indicate recessions. Now, officially, we claimed a recession back here. There's a light shaded area on the chart. You may not be able to quite distinguish that via YouTube, but there is a light shaded area right there where we had a recession back in 08, 09. Cardboard sales. This is Packaging Corp's actual box shipments, not just orders, but actual shipments. We're doing pretty good. And then look, it kind of dried up. We quit increasing shipments and actually have gone negative on shipments. And we've been negative. Somebody, not naming any names, has been talking about the fact that we probably had a recession, and we see the biggest negative right at the end here, and then we come out of it. So this one could actually be a bigger potential recession. Now, all recessions are not necessarily the same thing. We did see negative GDP growth for 2 consecutive quarters last summer, and that's when we redefined what a recession was. Now, layoffs kicking off. We're seeing yellow go bankrupt. That's 30,000 people jobless as of this week. We're seeing CVS laying off about 5,000 people. We're up to 35,000 people without jobs. And if you believe the job openings, there's almost 2 jobs per person looking for work. But I think a lot of those jobs may never get filled. A garbage collector job is not the same. I don't care what you want to argue. Is not the same as what I'm doing right here. It's not the same as a big tech job. And it's not the same as like a lawyer or a doctor. I mean, no 2 jobs are really equal in my view. There is a degree of skill. I mean, there's skilled labor, unskilled labor. I had this talk with my teenager when he was looking for a job. He was like, but you have to be skilled to be a server. I was like, how you don't understand what skilled labor and unskilled labor is. There's labor that you can do, that you can learn the skill, and it's not very labor intensive. Then there's other things that you maybe have to have natural talent to do. Possibly what I'm doing right now. Maybe I don't have talent. I don't know. Then there's other things like you go to school for a long time, like to be a doctor, and you have to have some kind of smarts because passing the MCATs and stuff, not always easy for people to do. I don't think all 2 jobs are the same. You can argue with me if you want. It's one of those things. I don't think everybody's cut out to do every job either. I think, based on my research, intel, everything, at some point when we come back out of this, we're going to declare that this was a recession. And everybody's going to be like, oh, look, we did it. It's over. It's done. Everything's getting better. Peachy, rosy, keen. No big deal. Save the day. Bidenomics. We win. We'll see if that actually happens or not. But all signs pointing to this being knee deep in a recession. We could go deeper again, but we could be turning the bottom. So this is why you got to be prepared. My VIP chat, I posted I think 6 scenarios just a little bit ago on what the path forward in the markets might be. The most likely scenario is with 35% chance, or 35% of participants leaning that way based on JP Morgan's trading desk, is the scenario that yours truly has been looking for. That's the highest probability scenario in the whole list. We're looking for a pullback and then potentially rocketing out to new highs in the market. We're talking about new highs from last year, 2022, where we topped out 4,800 on the S&P 500. Potentially going to go hit new highs. Now, as I talked about this morning, we do have this debt problem hanging out here. The Treasury going to refinance about $2 trillion over the next 2 quarters. They're going to We're going to suck about $2 trillion of liquidity out of the market in the next 2 quarters. They're not going to do it with, we've been seeing reverse repos flipping into treasury bills. They're going to flip over to selling coupons and other methods of extracting liquidity out of the market to refinance themselves, on pace to hit 200% of our GDP as far as debt goes by 2053. That's the point where empires fail. Historically, this is not just me making crap up. This is like, go back to Roman times. Anytime the public debt gets up to 200% GDP, an empire tends to fail. We're on that path right now. It's kind of a scary path if you think about it. So what comes after what we have now? I can't tell you. Hey, first timer Eileen, glad to have you. All right, so there you go. That's kind of the news of the week. I'll talk more about some of the stuff tomorrow during the morning show. All right, popping over, looking at, let's hit the highlights. ES hung out between, it tested support a whole bunch of times. Didn't really test resistance. We rolled down, just kind of hung out down here. That's this is a bearish pattern right now, and unless we can break out, I'm still bearish, but we're holding support. The longer we hold support, the worse the drop may be. I'm cautious, but that's kind of our levels. 46.22 on the upside, and right around here at 45.90 on the lower side. I actually have my alert set at like 45.85, I think, on my other computer, just below that orange box. Otherwise, we stay in between there. We're just going to ping pong chop in this zone. How long can we maintain that chop? I don't know. It could go 2 weeks. We saw it do that for quite a while back in April, May. So doesn't have to go anywhere. Sideways bias until we either break out or down. If we break out, we're probably just going for an incremental high, maybe up to 46.56 on ES. You're unfamiliar with ES? That's S&P 500's futures. Runs about 20 points higher than the actual cash index. If we break out down below 45.85, probably heading down to 4,500 at least, if not the extension 44.74. And there's a whole boatload of other levels I've been talking about. When we look over on the S&P 500 chart, we're kind of turning down off that resistance. Can we hold it? Go for one more? I don't know. Back to this zone right here around 4,300. Kind of would be kind of likely. That's the breakout price. That's where we saw the last little baby correction that didn't even really count as a correction. Last time we had a big correction, it ended March 13th down here. Last time we saw 3% or more pullback in the S&P 500 right there. We haven't done that since March 13th. And that was roughly a 7.7% pullback right there. Now we've been on our tear, rallying up almost 15% gain. And it says negative because I flipped the dots here. Let's flip them back to the right spot so we can see that in positive numbers. Heck, it says 18% now. Depends on where you put the dots, I guess. Roughly 18% gain. And it's been 96 bars, 140 days, 96 bars. 96 bars since we last saw a correction. The market, on average, pulls back every 47 days. And when I say pulled back, that means 3% or more. And this has happened every 47 days, every 47 trading days since World War II. We are almost double that. Puts us in the top 10% of moves, getting close to being in the top 5% of moves as far as duration of going straight up since World War II. That's pretty crazy. We can expect an outsized pullback after a long duration grind higher. Please be careful. I'm kind of neutral right now. I'm not like saying that sell everything necessarily, but I am neutral. I'm not super long. If you got super profitable longs and you don't want to ride it through any kind of correction, maybe consider protecting it or booking some profit. If I don't know that going super down super fast or super far is high probability at this point. That's why I'm kind of neutral. All right, I do expect a correction. That correction could be on par with these two that we had already this year, or already on this move, I should say, not this year. These were on the way up, both about the same size. I expect another one that can take us right back down to this 4,300 area. That one right there, we did from into late December. This one right here, we did from February to March. We could easily do another echo of that move. You might have heard of echo trades, me talking about that before. I believe in market echoes, pullbacks that all kind of rhyme, all kind of match, all kind of do about the same size. That would put us right back down here around 4,300. All right. Now, moving on over the red list, let's hit some of the highlights. NQ. Oh, that was the wrong list. Let's go back over this one. NQ. Pop up the daily. We are looking at a lower high at this point, and we can roll over. Just hanging out in the box. Can we hold? I mean, do we break out? Do we break down? Probably going to break down. Probably take us at least back to this consolidation and may fill this gap that we left back here in the futures. Back down around 14,600-ish. Possibly down to 14,500-ish. That's a long way down. That can suck a lot of, that can freak out a lot of people. That's what we need right now. Everybody's mostly long. And a lot of bullish sentiment in the market. And we need to flush some of that out so we can actually make some progress again. Just keep grinding. So far, Russell just churning, hanging above the trend line. That's a downtrend line right there. Poke it above yesterday. Hung out above it today, even though we retested it. I don't know. Tomorrow's going to be the tell. If we don't maintain it, we're going back down. If we can maintain it, probably setting up to do the push up to this 2,100 to 2,200. And NQ, if you're unfamiliar, that's QQQ. RTY right here on the screen, that's Russell 2000. IWM would be the ETF for that. All right, looking on down, oil continued to churn. I expect it to do one more push up to at least 82.80 area. Potentially as far as 84.50, but that would be really pushing it, and then probably see a retrace. That's what I expect there. Gasoline, that looks like it's about to break out. We've got this last kind of level of resistance here. We break out there, this thing can go full bull and much higher prices. Much higher prices. Let's see. If we pull this around and go off the low here, measured bounce, we're looking at potentially up to 350 just on the next target, and we could break out and go higher, much higher after that. So this would be pop up here, 350, possibly 360, retrace a bit, and then go probably higher high, 450, possibly 5 or 6. Yeah. I have to run the fib lines on that, but yeah, looking like we can go way higher on gasoline. Yeah, turn on the fibs properly, $4. Yeah, $3.50, $4. That's what we're looking at next. And natural gas still stuck in the box, still stuck a lower high. Yeah, it's not only a lower high than over here, but lower high just right here locally. That's kind of bearish. That's very overlapping. May go right back down to the bottom of the box. I don't care what anybody's saying about shortages in gas. It doesn't seem to be a popular opinion right now as far as the prices in gas. Gold, zoom this baby up. I know I got tons of stuff drawn on this gold chart, so let's zoom it up and talk about it briefly. We have a measured bounced kind of situation going on here. And look, we saw this same almost exact pullback right here. Flash, flash. Probably going to pop. We break out over this orange box right here above, say, 20, 25-ish. Probably on the path to go up here around 2150 to 2200. And this blue line right here is just the move that we did off of this right here. I was talking about the echoes in the S&P. There's echoes in gold right there. Same pullback, same bottoming level. That move up would match this move up right here, take us up to about 2150, 2160. And could take us out in the fall. I mean, it could take October. I mean, this one took a little longer. This move up could take a little longer, out to October, November, December, possibly into next year. We'll see. Silver, consolidating right above the breakout. Still having trouble getting going all the way. Closing below today. I'd like to see that push back out and not mess around here anymore. I am still long-term bullish out to 2025, looking for $35 on silver. Probably higher than that, actually, but got to get through this near-term consolidation thing here. Copper, still not looking overly bearish. It did get above the roadmap line. That was positive yesterday, but retracing and bearish engulfing that whole move. I don't know. That hasn't convinced me yet. That was very overlapping, not super bullish looking. Check back next week. See if anything's changed there. I'm not seeing a big opportunity there yet. All right, we can talk about other stuff: sugar, cattle, pork, whatever you want to, if you want to make that request. Otherwise, I'll hit on Bitcoin and then we'll jump into your requests. So I do remind you, one request per person, per message, and let somebody else go before you make another one. So when I get to that point, so Bitcoin looks like could hold here. Could. We kind of had the spike down, little green doji, little lightning here. I don't know. We could touch the roadmap line. It's not that much further to go on the daily here. Around 27.7. I usually watch the futures chart in the morning. This is just the spot market price, and that's Bitstamps. Here's Coinbase's. All of them making a little bit lower low than we saw back here on the 24th. There was some news about Ripple lawsuit. A judge not agreeing with the other judges, whatever. It's crypto. There's FUD, there's fear, there's uncertainty, there's doubt, there's very emotional responses, and that's why these charts behave the way they do with the price action. It's rather predictable. Looks like we may need that retrace and then pop. Ethereum has made a lower high, holding a measured bounce set up for going lower. That would put us down in this 1450 to 15 to possibly 1600 area right now, possibly going all the way to the bottom box at 1350. So that's kind of the potential we have going right there. Be like this, and yeah, right there, right where the arrow is. All right, that's what we got. And Doge, for those followers, we're potentially breaking out, retracing to the roadmap line. That would set the next little push up to potentially go up to about 8.6 cents, maybe 8.9 cents. Maybe if it breaks below the roadmap line, probably going back down to the lows around 5.9 cents. Sounds like the upside is lower potential than the downside. Not awesome. All right, circling back, CCJ. Start picking up a few of these. AXP SE first. All right, AXP potentially breaking out. That's a roadmap line bounce right there. That's the aggressive entry now. More conservatively, when we get above the 618 right there, around 174, looking for 182. That's right where the prior high was, and 188 above that. So potential and kind of flat. Now, I said I'd talk about AMD earnings. Initially, it was popping. Now we're kind of correcting that back off a little bit. Be careful. We may not be able to hold this into the morning. It may end up right back where we were, potentially even going down. It's kind of a bearish chart on the daily. Looking lower high, lower high. If we can't maintain that move up and break out above 121.94, could see it retrace back to the roadmap line. And then Starbucks, go ahead and hit some of these earnings. And probably going down. I had a target back here from earlier in June, probably back in May actually, when I drew that. That may be as much as it can muster before it goes down for that lower low. And then pins. And just kind of churning a little bit. Needs to break out. If it can actually do the breakout, this is a measured bounce. The target would be on up here around 43. So far, having trouble getting above those prior highs. Finding some resistance. One spike up and slammed right back down. Just hanging out right there. All right. CCJ, as I said, is rocking. That's above the 1618, and from that move back there where we last hit the roadmap line, this little move that we saw right here, right up to the 1618. At some point, this is gonna do another one of these pullbacks. That's probably as much as I would expect out of this move without doing another one of these pullbacks right here. Can take us back to 31. Then we do that. You see, just move it up. That would get us to 36 and 37 potentially on the next move up. But you need the pullback. I wouldn't bet on it going extremely far higher right now without another one of these pullbacks. You see, it did that same pullback, kind of right there, very similar. That one right there. Kind of expect another one right here. That's what I would expect. All right, CCL, Carnival Cruise Lines. While that could be, let's zoom it up. That could be an echo of this move. Grab the line, not the chart. See how that kind of, but that didn't get overly bullish like this one did. Be careful. That's the initial sign that this thing may be played out. Holding that, dropping down here, sets us up to go down in a bigger way. A bigger way can be right down here around 16. If it doesn't hold that 15, 16 area, we can see it come down to the roadmap line. And these two things could kind of do this, and then this could do this, and they could meet over here somewhere. All right, doesn't have to do anything. Nothing has to do anything. All right, PepsiCo. Man. Well, it's like failure to get going. Retrace, probably coming back to the roadmap line again. Again. That's what that looks like to me. Short term, longer term. Now that there's a caution here because this could be like a measured bounce setup going lower. Could take us down to 170 area, right down in here. If we get below the roadmap line. If we turn back up here, break out above that high, right there, that sets Pepsi up to go right up here. Then probably go like this and like that. 201, 207, right there. There's all your paths. It's the highest probability paths right there. Most likely come down and retest here. If it just goes for a breakout, target's right up here, 201. Even if it bounces here, target's still 201. Then bounce down, then bounce up, 207. If it doesn't hold that, it's probably coming back down again. There you go. That's the path forward for Pepsi. All right. Let's see. First timer. Yeah, I got that coin. Had to scan through all the messages there. Coin, so far holding. I thought we would see the retrace. That's what I drew right there when we rejected off the high. Zoom in. When we did that little spike up there, rejected off that prior high. That prior high comes from March. I think it was March. No, August. Last August. Rejected off that. I thought we would come back down to the breakout level. That's where these highs were. Where we had a trouble breaking up through before. Retest. Came freaking dang close to it yet today. Get the words out. Freaking dang close to it. Really close. I love that tail. If we can get continuation back higher, that's probably all the correction we needed to go break out and get the bigger run. that bigger run target up here, 160, 200, that area right up in this zone. Looking for that. Likely we see this pop back up there, test that breakout zone. If we can break out above that high, it's a resistance zone now. If we can break out above it, it will be the breakout zone and set us on a path 160 to 200 for coin. That's my long-term view right there. So you need to you got to know your time frame. All right, that's going to be a longer time frame, potentially out into late this year. All right, SoFi and probably, I don't know. That did the high probability thing. Popped up, got past the 1618. The next high probability thing I expect would be a retrace back to the roadmap line. You see it right there. That's what I would expect. Now, can it retrace back, hold 930, and go for more fibs? Sure. I mean, 1292, 1214. If it retraces back to the roadmap line, it resets the whole fib structure, and we can work on more targets. It does have a significant orange box built up above us where we consolidated for a long time from January 21 through basically all of 21. Consolidated right there. That's going to be a significant resistance with supply if we pop up in that area. All right. Amazon. I am still holding Amazon. That expires here in just a couple weeks. Hanging out. I'm going to hold it through earnings because at this point, it's all or nothing, baby. There's the target. That's that prior high from back here in August. We are still underperforming on Amazon. The current CEO is not nearly as good at managing the stock price as Mr. Bezos was. And I hear lots of rumblings. Not much happening, though, on the stock price. Be beautiful to see that pop up, hit that 145, 150, possibly 160 area. But not holding my breath, just kind of holding the calls. We'll see what happens. All right. IP. Never risk more than you can afford to lose. I can afford to lose all of that position, and I sleep just fine at night. If that's not you, you're trading too big. You need to be able to take a full loss on any position. But if you do it right, the gains way outperform the losses. I mean, like that Shopify trade I made where I made like 15,000% a few months ago. We'll circle back to international paper in a second. See, I was long Shopify on a measured bounce right back here. When it did that, that was bank. That was big money, baby. That more than covered any loss I'll ever take on the Amazon calls. And, we do this over and over on all sorts of stuff. Same thing when I played PLTR. I mean, booked a nice big chunk of profit right back here on this chop. Now it's going to run right up into the target zone, my long-held target zone. I got an uneasy feeling here, so I unloaded on that spike, and it did a retrace, and now going for the target. So it's all about time frame and protecting your profits. We'll see if PLTR can get up in that $22 area. Potentially as high as 28, but significant resistance in that 22 to 28. It may take it a while to get through that. I wasn't willing to wait. I went ahead and booked my profit off of that one. All right, circling back to IP. Yeah, nice potential breakout, but that's still a lower high situation. Look at where we are. Look at what we got. We've been up above the roadmap line before. We have not broken above the downtrend of highs. It's got some work to do still. This is the lowest low of this move. After making this high way up here, that's the lowest low. Haven't broken the downtrend line. That's still a downward bias until we do. Hate to say it, but if we could possibly get up out of there, pretty free sailing until we get to about 50. Look at that. We consolidated right there. Shane, if you're watching, look at that. Look at how that consolidated, right? That, Chris, too. I talk about these all the time. You guys were here in person when we talked about this, how this odd phenomenon happens where you see consolidation at a 618 level that's not even there yet. We wouldn't have had that 618 level there until we got this low. That's going to be the resistance on the way up. All right. There you go on IP. Probably more than you wanted to know. Lows. Low. 1618 is at 241. And it didn't really do the retrace back to the 100. So typically we see it bounce off the 1272, retrace back to the 100, and then push out to the 1618. Instead, we're just kind of grinding a bit. And this may continue that grind till we get up to that 241 level. And cat did finally hit my, look at that, green box zone. That was the target. That's it for now. Somebody said, where's cat going from here? I couldn't tell you. There's no high probability pattern left right now. Not really to speak of. We could potentially get up to as high as 304. Could. I would kind of expect it to retrace and back the breakout before we do that, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, thanks for coming by, PD. You can always catch the recording for the rest of it. All right. AI. Update on AI. The resistance has been resistance so far. Didn't make it all the way back to the roadmap line. Held that low right there. Turned out to be the high and the low. Buyers stepped in. Back here, unable to break out, just uninteresting. It's not really, I quit following it as much. This is the first time I pulled it up in probably a month. If it can break out, I mean, 73 possible. We do have that significant resistance right across there. Comes from right back over here, where we consolidated for a good long while. May through November, 6 months, kind of found support there and broke down. Coming back up, it may take 6 months to get through this. Yeah, could take a while. All right. MARA retraced, and you know what? You can do another one of these. See how I did that? I can do that again. Can sit there till September, just messing around, and then go. Did it before, I can do it again. That's all I expect. 21 to 30, 20 to 30 was the target zone, and we came up just shy of that at like 1990. What was it? What was the high there? 1988. So almost hit the target. Shoot me, 12 cents. I mean, I was dang close. 12 cents from whenever I called it back here when we were down here at 5. I mean, we were like $5-6, and I called 20 as an ideal target. We got within 12 cents. That was pretty freaking close. What's next? There's not a high probability next. I'm just sitting on it. I'm long-term sitting on this. I have almost 10,000 shares worth of control and out to 2025. Just kind of waiting. Just waiting. All right, TSN. That's bearish. Let's clean this up. That's bearish. Bearish. And resistance or support, whatever you want to call it. Resistance going lower right there. Around 50, we get below that. 44, 41. That's bearish after being super bullish. back. I think you can go down to COVID lows. That's crazy. Man. All right. ENPH is bearish. There's the target. I've had that target for... Sledge, when I put the target on there, you've been fascinated with this one. I've had that target on there for a long time. Probably since at least December, maybe January. 115. I expected to flush. I just do. They can hold this zone right in here at 150, but looking like we're poking below. That sets it up. Probably going to come down here around 115. That's that prior low from back here. 115, 120 area. That's probably where we're headed. That's ENPH for you. All right. Does strong dollar have a negative effect on BTC? Not really. They're only correlated when they're correlated. Dollar is not really strong either. So, that's kind of a bearish chart. And UUP just chopping. Not overly bullish. Kind of like the DXY chart better as far as clarity. It's got more candles, or more filled in candles, I should say. Holding the resistance. I talk about this every morning. Holding the resistance. If we break back below, probably going lower low. Target's been down here for a while. Probably see 98 on the next push, then a retrace, and then maybe down to the ultimate target, 96. Could go even lower, down to the low 90s, but just been kind of expecting the mid 90s for most of the year so far. That's what I got to say about that. And anybody that says, you know, the dollar dropping makes the stock market pop, well, look, this has been rallying and the stock market not really dropping. So I don't believe in the correlations unless it's actually somewhat correlated. I only have one chart that's really tightly correlated with the R squared. That's just crazy. And let's see if I can find it. I had it up earlier today. Where did it go? Maybe. Nope. One chart. Where'd it go? One chart to read them all. I saw it earlier. No. Oh, there it is. This one. Man, I can't get the chart by itself. Central bank liquidity. That's worldwide. The Fed plus the ECB plus Bank of Japan plus Bank of Europe plus PBOC plus Bank of pulling a blank on that one. Bank of China, SMB. I can't read that one. I think it's Russia. Add them all together. 98.4% correlated to the S&P 500 over the last 14, 15 years. There you go. All right. Moving on. Get some more requests. BITO, BITO. What's your time frame? It's holding a roadmap pattern. High or low. Sets it up for a big move. Potentially up to the 20 area. It's a nested setup right there. Click the fib, click the top right there. Hold the measure bounce. That could be another move. This is a potentially explosive setup. Same target as the one before. That makes it higher probability. Looking for a move up to 20. Hey, Kimberly forgot it was Tuesday. Oh my goodness. All right. MSTR reporting earnings. Estimated to lose money. Made a bunch of money. 900% beat on the top. Missed on the bottom. And not much reaction. how much to predict. I mean, that's at the target's pullback likely, but doesn't have to happen. Can just keep grinding. It pretty much exceeded all the targets I expected for now. It's sitting at the bigger 618 level that I had drawn on here. And probably ought to remove that at this point and draw. Let's draw this one. And we've got a ways to go to that 618 where that topped out right there. So we got some work to do to get back up to that 770 area. And looks like we've got a prior high. I've got all sorts of crap drawn in here. Oh, moving the wrong thing. Wanted to move that orange line. Yeah, okay. Let's delete that orange line, put an orange box. This low and that high right there. That'll be the next resistance we go mess with. I'll zoom it up, show you. Right there. So next resistance between 530 and 570. Then if we can break out, it's pretty smooth sailing up to this 770 to 880 area right up there. So those are going to be the next target zones. Right there and then right up there. Time frame? Shoot, I don't know. That could take a while. And this took way longer than I thought. It messed around right here for an extra month or so before it finally took off, and it just blew through 360 and 394 right up to those extension fibs. It can just consolidate again for a while and draw a box around this. Can do that, move again. Like I talk about, these things tend to echo and rhyme. Can just do that again, possibly consolidate until late August, and then pop again. Yeah, it hasn't really pulled back like it did. That would take it right back down to about 370. So that would be the support. Really, the orange box is the support. It's the point from where it broke out from, where we had prior highs over here. There you go. That's MSTR in a nutshell. L. Lowells. Loez. I don't even know what that is. I don't know how to say that. Doesn't look like much right now to me. It's not even a, what is this, NYSE. Why is it, I wonder when the earnings are black. Casualty insurance. Weird. Well, it's hanging out in the same place it's been for a long freaking time. Look, that's where it topped out. Tried to break out, couldn't hold it, right back down, below it, tried to come up, below it, tried to come up again. I would be highly cautious till we got above this high. That would start tipping me to being more bullish on a breakout, looking for possibly 73. It's not a huge upside compared to the risk of it going down into the 50s again. All right. That was L. Let's see, what stock would you consider for increasing gasoline prices? It's not really something I play, Tim. It's just I prefer the kind of stock that makes me money, that so I don't care about the gasoline prices going up. Right now, positions like A, B, and B. This one could pop pretty big on earnings. I mean, it could be a make or break. You know, we're on a potential breakout here. The target setup based on what we've done so far, right up here, around 220. But we could see epic failure right back to the roadmap line. Right back to that consolidation box. It's like a story of, does it pop or does it drop? I like the bigger upside potential compared to the downside risk. Maybe not suitable for all investors. Be careful. substantial risk of loss. That's how I would offset my gasoline costs. Playing high probability stuff. All right. PayPal. Sitting on the roadmap line. Not able to get above it for how many days has that been now? Let's see. 11 trading days, 2 weeks, 2 calendar weeks, 11 trading days. That's not strength. And when it popped up through yesterday, it retraced today. That's not strength. That's a big red flag for me. Highly cautious. And we're right in the same zone where we consolidate. So it's that can turn down very easily from this zone. See where these highs are right here? We haven't even gone up to test it yet. Watch out for significant supply, which means sellers coming into the market right in that zone. If we can get above that, it's the first sign we might do something positive. If we can't get above that, we're probably going back lower. I mean, I've been looking for something in the lower 50s for a good long while. Be careful. Please. MasterCard. Try to leave my nose itches. 50 minutes already. 50 minutes of awesome. I have to rename the show. MasterCard found resistance at the 401 area. Retraced back to the 100. Next move out potentially takes us up to 412. Potentially. I should remove that arrow and make this a little more clear. Look, classic pattern. Came right up, 618. Tried to push higher, came back to the 100. Classic move. Right there, we see it over and over. Found support. Next attempt should take us out to about the 412, 413 area. What happens next? Not sure. That's the high probability move. If it fails for whatever reason, probably will make it all the way back down here to 375. Look, which just happens to be where they consolidated before. And consolidated before. All right, that's MA, SE. That's bearish underneath the roadmap line. At least I haven't seen some hot garbage stocks today. This is just back to the roadmap line, holding underneath so far. Measured bounce setup potential. If this can break above 72, we could see much higher prices potentially. Maybe like JT, what kind of higher prices potentially? If you're going to say those words potentially. And we can see 130, 140. Nice potential right there. Probably go like this. Probably take a little longer. Take longer than anybody expects. So we were having a conversation in Discord about yellow going bankrupt and like Old Dominion Freight Line. I think it's ODFL. Stands to benefit from that, which their chart looks like pretty good so far. Probably going to have a retrace because that's extensions and potentially like XPO. Yeah, that one played out beautifully. Right up to the extensions. So, all right, FXI. China just kind of consolidating in here. Don't have any strong feelings on FXI. It's holding the 618 level. They can turn their crap around, but I don't know. That let's see, what was it? Yen. Not a breakout there. It's holding the roadmap line. That can go down. This is leveraged. Leveraged stuff doesn't always follow the patterns. Be careful. leverage. And put myself on the other side. There we go. So I'm not blocking the information. And yang. It's funny when the bear and the bull both look bearish. What does that mean? That one's pushing lows. Although that can chop back up. It's kind of funny. The yin and the yang both look bearish, and they're opposites. Just have to wonder about that one. Anyway, all right. FXI, no, I don't really have anything. It's unclear. NIO, nice pop, got above. I mean, that's a potential breakout. May run out of steam as we approach that right there. I know Rongamer probably loves this one right here. Go put all your money into it. There you go. Potential to run up to this $19 to $24 area right there. All right. FNGU. Sounds like one of those online universities, doesn't it? FNGU. Probably going to retrace back the roadmap line would be my expectation. Watch out for that too. That'd get us staying close. That is leveraged. Be careful on leverage stuff. All right. On Simi. Just keeps extending like a beast. Out to the 1618. Retrace back, and then we can do it again. Probably would expect another one of these retraces. Like that. No big, I mean, there's a risk that it retraces the roadmap line, but if it just keeps grinding like it's been grinding, probably support back at 100, 105, and then the next extension would be 113, 116. And you can do it quick too, like 3, 4, 5 days, 5 trading days, be right back down, then go on the next grind. That's on for you. XPEV, XPeng, looks extended. Coming right up into that prior resistance. Hitting the 2618, deep retrace, at least back to maybe this support right here where it consolidated for a couple days. It's going to have trouble getting through here, more than likely. May do like the Netflix thing, come up here and then retrace the whole thing. If you're unfamiliar, Netflix, look what we did over here. Zoom this up. We popped up, ran out of steam, right back down to the bottom of the box, held the bottom of the box. Now potentially going to make the move to go fill the gap from February last year. January, February, big gap down. It's probably going to go fill that gap. All right. GM. Potentially bullish. Roadmap line bounce. It's interesting. This is like the same pattern on Ford too. Now, one other danger I see. Little baby Head and Shoulders in there. that can lead to a move like this if we broke down. I can lead to a breakout, push higher, but it doesn't have to. 42, 43 on the upside, and potentially like 33 on the downside. So downside risk bigger than the upside potential. TDOC, I'll show you four in a second. TDOC stuck at the roadmap line. That's been sideways and gnarly, and I don't expect that to go anywhere. More of this. Market's open. All right, there's T-Doc F forward, right there. Right back to the roadmap line, just like GM. And it's a 618 measured bounce that can lead to a bigger pop potential. Could have targets at 16 and 18, or 16, I guess 16 and 16. This is not a huge chart. That bounce potential, though, sets it up to potentially go up to 19, 20. Potentially. All right, ACHR. Big gap down in ES. Figures. ACHR in the resistance box, breaking out. Potentially gets us higher. I don't have live data that I can pull up on ES, so that's resistance. Watch for that to retrace again. Roadmap line is way the heck down here at this point at 3. Now, also caution, my stuff doesn't work the best on stuff under 10 bucks. It just doesn't. It's not always, patterns don't always work on low price stuff. There's not it doesn't tend to be the market participation as we get on higher price stuff. So be careful there. SUI. That one looks like a garbage chart. There we go. Somebody had to bring it up. Now, this isn't necessarily garbage, whatever, but this chart looks like dumpster fire to me. It really does. Lower highs, and hanging out at the bottom of the zone that we've been at all year can lead to lower prices. Be careful. We have not gotten the extension since we did the roadmap line retrace right there. Extension would put it down to 106. All right. FNG roadmap line price, that is right there around 138-ish, 130, 140, roughly. You can get the roadmap line if you want it, put it on your own chart. It's like $5, links in the description. Like another 19 bucks, so it's like 24 bucks, gets you 15 months of watch lists with roadmap line setups. So super easy to do if that's something you want to do. All right, that looks like everybody covered everything. Apple, I'll cover a couple of the highlights here. I mean, look at that grind. It's got a break. I am long some AAPD shares. That's daily bearish shares right there. Long a little bit of that. Then we've got everybody's favorite Tesla. Consolidating right here. Looks like we could see the bigger retrace back down in this 220 area. Especially if we get the market rolling over. Be careful. And we did Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Meta. Hanging out right at the resistance. Can't break out. Hadn't broken down. Just hanging. Google is, can you explain your services? So roadmap line is what I'm offering. That's the only thing I offered here in this today. It's a daily chart pattern. It's basically these things move up, they retrace to the roadmap line. This one didn't quite make it, and then we go on an extension, and that extension looks something like that right there. See, it went right to the 1272, then that's all I really expected to do before it retraces back to the roadmap line again. But typically we see it'll come back, bounce off the 100, and then extend on out to the 1618. We see that a lot. AXP is one of those roadmap line setups right there. We retraced right back to the roadmap line, holding an aggressive entry right here, potentially more, or yeah, aggressive entry here, more conservative if you waited for it to be above the above the 618 level right there. Targets would be 182 and 188. We started out this presentation here with this trade right here. Potentially, that's a bullish trade. Now, for other ones that have worked in the past, like BA right here, did that. See, we bounced right down here. The target was 225. We pretty much exceeded that, and a little more gravy right there, 234. That's it. I kind of expect this to retrace back to the roadmap line again. Hadn't been there since back here in May. Another one, SOXL. This was another one I published as a potential right there. Made it up to 27. Conservative target. Aggressive target 33. Haven't seen it yet. Head and shoulders target off the other pattern going there, 39. So there you go. There's a few of them, for example. Now, other stuff I offer, my most technically advanced thing, echo trades. That's where I get into those market echoes and stuff like that, how to figure those out, how to measure them. That's my most technically advanced thing. That's the first thing I launched as a guru, and you know, I sold a lot of subscriptions to that. It's kind of the wrong market for it right now. We've only found very few of them that are doing the repeatable pattern. Everything else is kind of chopping. And this is kind of like the story of the Magnificent Seven. There's 7 stocks that have led most of the rally from the October lows. And beyond that, most everything else is sideways. There's not a lot of broad market participation in the market yet. That's one reason why I'm kind of bullish, bigger picture, because if we see rotation out of those 7 into the other things, we can see a huge takeoff. Now, other things I do, I have a day trade called Opening Bell Alerts. I trade one particular ticker first thing in the morning usually, and looking for a gap fill overnight. It just happens to do it a lot. And then I have some other technical type patterns. I do something that we call green light income alerts. That's a technical pattern that I find in the options market and exploit some mispricing in options. We have, pulling a blank on everything right now. I have Crypto Unleashed that takes advantage of a monthly pattern in Bitcoin's price. I have Crypto Power Plays that tracks crypto and 50 or 60 something charts in the crypto space. I have Double Dip Trades. That's an entry level product that just tries to chase down high yield dividend plays. Put you in a portfolio of high yield dividend plays, no options, no nothing, just holding shares of things that pay anywhere from 5 to 12% interest, or dividends, I guess you'd call it, not interest, but dividends. So, and that's the majority of the stuff. Echo trades, yeah, opening bell alerts, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the patterns I track right now. So, yeah, I don't have that's beyond the power of this. This is 30 minutes to your requests. I'm not going through all my systems during this. That was kind of the highlights. So there you go. You want to know more information? Come join me in Discord. Links in the description. $5 for an entry level thing, and then you can ask me all the questions you want to in the questions and answers channel. So Lisa, I recognize your name. I think you're in there. So have a great day, everybody. I'll be back live before the market opens tomorrow morning, 9:15. Come join me for Morning Monster, where I drink a Monster and look at the markets. I don't do hot liquids, so I don't do coffee or tea. I do Monsters. So have a great day, everybody. The account you save may be your own. Be careful out there.